For more on this development, the chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Bayo Balogun, joins me on TVC News at 1. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you.
So the electoral reform is one of the bills that is also being presented was presented at the national public hearing yesterday. Just to give us an idea, I mean, it has a lot of provisions or a lot of alterations or proposals that people are looking at. There is a single day elections to streamline logistics. There are issues around giving INEC authority over local government elections and just a lot more. But what do you find amongst all of these proposals to be more, important to Nigerians?
Well, the ones that are very, very important now, although they're all important, but when it comes to our electoral reform, one major item that we want to scale through is the issue of concluding all litigations before swearing in. And this has got to have a consequential amendment in the Constitution. That's where, if you check the proposal, you see the HB 2166, which talks about the timeline of the election, and 2169, which also talks about the timeline of the tribunal. Because if we really want all the elections to be concluded before swearing in, that means some of this timeline has to be changed. As at present, we have the election is to take place between 150 days and 30 days to the swearing in of the new government. And in the timeline for the tribunal, we have 180 days for the tribunal and 60 days for the appeal. That means it's going to very impossible for 240 days to get into 150 days of the time available between the election and the swearing in. That's why we need to amend the Constitution, reduce the number of days for the tribunal, and also increase the time between the election and the swearing in. So these are areas that we are working on. And we are not only just changing the timeline, we also want to remove it from the Constitution and bring it to the Electoral Act, because changing the Constitution could be very, very hectic. That means it must go to all the states, it must get to third of all the states. So an issue as issues like electoral matters should no longer be put in the Constitution. It should be amending the Electoral Act should just be an easy way out. So that's why we want to remove it, such timelines from the Constitution, and bring them to the Electoral Act. And the issue of one-day election too is not a constitutional matter. It's just issue that can be handled in the Electoral Act. So most of these areas, we are bringing them into the Electoral Act. So, but to do that, we must first of all bring it out from the Constitution. And that's why we have so many bills relating to the electoral matters in the Constitution this time around. And
so, Honorable Bayo,
we still have also.
I know that you want to state all of them, but there are a lot of issues people are raising. But I wanted to sort of stay on what you just said. Does that mean that elections would no longer hold in the same year as, that's the proposal, is that election would no longer hold in the same year as the swearing if you're looking to increase the time, or you are moving the swearing in date?
Now, what we have in the Constitution is that election must hold maximum of 150 days and minimum of 30 days to the swearing in. And that same Constitution says that tribunal shall hold for 180 days and another 60 days for appeal. That gives us 240 days. And in case of governor, you still have another 60 days for tribunal. So if you are looking at 240 days for litigation, and there's only 150 days maximum that the Constitution stipulates for the window between the election and the swearing in. That means we need to increase the number of days between the election and the swearing in. We are looking at about 180 days. That is 90 days for the tribunal and 60 days for the appeal. And you know there will be time for filing. You have about 21 days for the filing of the tribunal and about 14 days for the filing of the appeal. All this will give us about 185 days. So what we are looking at now is to have 185 days between the day of election and the swearing in. That will be enough to take all the litigations, and it will be concluded before swearing in. But this requires a constitutional amendment. That's why the bills have to be sent to the the Committee on Constitutional Amendments.
One other important proposal is it is centered around, you've talked about the revision of timelines, but also the transmission of results for improved efficiency. What are you also looking at in that regard? Because the IRF was a major bone of contention in election litigation in 2023.
Well, if you look at Section 65 in the Electoral Act, that has also been taken care of. Then we used to have transfer, but people felt transfer was not too good enough. It should be made transmit, and that has been affected in our amendment. So Section 65 now will say the result will be transferred from the unit to the next level of collation, both manually and electronically. So we've been able to take care of the agitation of the people.
All right, we'll see how, you've had a public hearing on it. We'll see how it plays out and the impact it will have on the 2027 election. Thank you so much for your time, Chairman.
Electoral Matters very soon.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Chairman, Electoral Committee, Bayo Balogun.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a break now and return with more stories in a moment. Stay with us.